Well, welcome back, y'all, for another Thursday BookTube. I haven't been reading much. Most of the books that I've shared with you have been books that I read in the past, but they're still worth sharing. And today I wanted to share two things, a book and a memory. In the summer of 1967, it was the year I turned 13. We had a bookmobile come to our elementary school, and the school was it was 2 miles from where I live, and my mother would sleep during the day because she worked third shift at the hospital as a nurse's aide. So I had permission to ride my bicycle the 2 miles up to the school so I could go to the bookmobile. And I did that all summer long. And it was just a wonderful experience. And I remember the first time I walked in and saw the shelves and how they were, leaning and all those books in there. So as the bookmobile went down the road, the books didn't fall off the shelf. And it struck me as odd because I had visited our local libraries quite a bit. My father used to, during the summer, he would give each one of us kids turns going to work with him. He was a cotton inspector, and he would go to cotton warehouses and inspect bales of cotton. And sometimes during the day, he would dropped me off at the public library, and I could stay in there for hours reading and checking out books. And the staff, they knew who I was, and it was a great experience, just to be left on my own without my parents around. I I wouldn't do that nowadays, but back then, in the mid to late 60s, it was fine. But I enjoyed that so much. And there was a set of books that I checked out at the Bookmobile. It was, and I don't think I remember the author, or maybe I do. Gertrude Warner, I think, was her name, and she wrote a series of books called The Boxcar Children. I was so excited about those. Those kids had such a adventurous time. They lived in a railroad car, and they did all kinds of things trying to, get food and make a little money to buy more food. And they were well behaved. They weren't out doing things they shouldn't be doing, but they were on their own for a while. And they were just so adventurous, and I loved those books. And I wrote down on a piece of paper the name of the book or series of books and the author's name, and I kept that in my wallet from, say, 1965 until about 1985, because I said at the time when I read those books that I was going to read those books to my children. If I ever had children, I wanted them to share in the experience of those books. And it was probably more like 1989 when my oldest daughter was about 5. She was already reading, and I shared those books with her. And I was thinking I had a copy of one or two of them, but I couldn't find them. But anyway, it was just an exciting time to be able to ride my bike, down the old country roads and ride up to the bookmobile. And it was never very crowded. There every once in a while somebody would come in, but I thought it was great. And the other thing I wanted to share with you, when I was a little girl, say, from about 3 or 4 years old and on, my daddy used to order books. He was a great reader. He he read books, all kinds of books, and he started me off on a set of books, and they were best in children's books. And I believe they were a Reader's Digest series, but they would come every month. And along with the book, there was, this is a hardback, there was a little paperback book. It was very thin, and it had stickers in it. You had to wet them with your tongue and glue them in. But it was different every time. You know, it might be different fish or different mammals or just different things. And I remember I just couldn't wait to get that so I could lick those stamps and put them in that little book. But I have, I think, 29 of these books. I sent one to my brother a couple of years ago. He was asking me about these books. He said, "Do you remember those books?" And I said, "Yeah, I still have a bunch of them." And he was talking about one of the stories that was his favorite. It was about the man who didn't wash his dishes. And he would eat and just let his dishes piled up, and it had a picture in the book of dishes all over the man's house. And then he decided one day he didn't want any more dirty dishes, so he piled up all the dirty dishes and put them in his truck and went out in the rain and, ended up getting his dishes clean. And he said he would never do that again. So I sent the book to my brother as a birthday gift. And inside the book, here, you see it's all nice and colorful in that 60s kind of way. The stories are Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, Tom the Piper's Son, Kintu, Philadelphia, Cradle of Liberty, Mike Fink, An American Tall Tale, Kiki Goes to Camp, Weapons in Nature, Factory Kitty, The Fairy and the Doll, and Let's Visit Ecuador. And in each book, the last pages were devoted to a different country. And so you got to, you got a little education along with the reading. And, they just, I remember my daddy reading me these stories, and I was so happy when I was old enough to be able to read them on my own. And, it's a great memory that I have. And here in the back, they would have a map of the country. So that is Best in Children's Books. And I'm happy to share that with you for Thursday BookTube. Thank you to Patti at Life with Patti and Daphne at My Mountain Home and Kitchen. And joining us today is my rabbit's foot fern. It's doing pretty good. I'll be glad when the temperatures stay at around 45 at night so I can put all my plants outside. Well, thank you for joining me. And I realize that probably during most of this video I've had my leg against the table, shaking the table, so I'm sorry about that. Well, y'all have a good evening, a good day, a good afternoon. And please remember to be kind to someone. Someone needs your kindness today. Bye.